People in low and middle income countries are struggling to get back to work. Their efforts to recover from the pandemic have stalled because they don't have enough vaccines. That's according to a new report by the International Labour Organization. The UN agency says job market conditions have steadily improved in rich countries, but the recovery in the rest of the world has been slower than expected, with working hours likely to remain well below pre-pandemic levels by the end of the year. Well, let's get more on this now with Dorothea Schmidt-Klau in Geneva. She's a senior economist at the International Labour Organization and co-author of the agency's latest report. Welcome to the program, Dorothea. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, we know that the jobs markets around the world have been decimated during the pandemic, and there was a lot of hope that 2021 would bring some much needed relief, especially because of the vaccine rollout. But you project the equivalent of 125 million full-time jobs will be lost this year, which is worse than your earlier forecast. Tell us how you came to those findings.
Well, we were very optimistic at the beginning of the year because we were hoping that not only vaccine would roll out across the world, but also that stimulus packages would help countries to actually get back on track. Now, what we see is that this is not happening. And actually, especially in the countries that were hardest hit during the pandemic, which is the lower income countries, especially there, vaccination is not happening. I mean, we talk about 60% of people vaccinated in rich countries and 1.6% vaccinated in low income countries. So as we show, there is a close relationship between vaccination and getting back on track, recovering from the crisis. You can imagine with 1.6% of the population being vaccinated, it's very hard to recover. So we had to actually revise downward, as you said, by 25 million full-time equivalent jobs to come up with this number of 125 million jobs, full-time equivalent jobs lost in 2021.
It's an incredible figure, isn't it? So where in the world are jobs recovering the most, and which countries are having a tougher time?
Well, interesting enough, there is only one region. If we take, if we divide the world in 4 regions, there's only one that is really, really recovering, and that's the high-income countries. Not even the upper income countries are recovering. It's only the high-income countries, which again proves the point that this is related to the size of the stimulus packages and also to the vaccination rates. All other regions are not recovering at all. So on average, we really see the recovery being stalled completely.
So what needs to be done in order to boost jobs growth, especially in those countries where the economic recovery is severely lacking?
Well, obviously, we talk about the countries that cannot do it by themselves. They need international solidarity. They need financial means. They need vaccinations. So we really have to focus on getting vaccinations and also resources to these countries, together with helping them with technical cooperation, et cetera, et cetera. But the most important is that we really take into account if they don't recover, we will not recover in the long run. If the poor countries don't recover, the rich ones won't do so either. So it's up it's the most important from a humanitarian perspective to actually help these countries, of course. But even from an economic perspective, it's very important because we can only get out of this altogether.
Okay, Dorothea Schmidt-Klau from the International Labour Organization. It was really good to get your analysis. Thanks again for joining us.